This is CBC Here and Now.
Locked and loaded. A protester apologizes for this Facebook post.
Marching for a sober election in Sheshatshiu.
Prove it to us that the youth are a priority here.
Early bird catches worm.
Or does it? $1 million controversy erupts at Chase the Ace.
A cold front rolling into the province is dropping temperatures in Labrador today into tonight. We're talking about showers and a thunderstorm risk across the island tomorrow. The details are coming up.
And we start tonight in the Goulds and that controversy around Chase the Ace and its $1 million plus jackpot.
The provincial government just confirmed it's investigating the St. Kevin's Parish fundraiser for irregularities. Here and now, Zach Gowdy is live at St. Kevin's. So Zach, what can you tell us?
Well, it was the Chase the Ace day that we were all expecting, with massive crowds and, yeah, a massive amount of money on the table. But things took a dramatic turn about an hour ago when Service NL announced that its auditors were on site investigating ticket irregularities and that there was the possibility that tonight's Chase the Ace drawing would not go ahead. So apparently there were at least 4 tickets that contained one duplicate number. One ticket buyer noticed that 4 of the tickets they had contained, again, one number that was repeated across the 4 tickets. When they reported that to the organizers, that prompted Service NL to begin its investigation. Now, again, even though this is a church organization, a charity behind this, and everyone assumes nothing but goodwill on the part of everyone involved, this is still a lottery. The province grants a license for this thing to run and requires that every aspect of this lottery be above board. And so an irregularity with some tickets could become an irregularity with the whole process, and yes, that might put tonight's draw and future draws in jeopardy. Obviously, that would be bad. Just look around. There are thousands and thousands of people here in Goulds. Several thousand more have passed through here through the day. And again, hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on tickets in just today's Chase the Ace ticket selling alone. Organizers so far are either telling us a straight no comment or behind the scenes telling us that there is no issue. Only moments ago, CBC News reached the owner of the printing shop, the owner of the print shop here in St. John's, the company that does the printing for these tickets. What they have told us is that they discovered the glitch late this afternoon, that an old batch of printed tickets had somehow gone out the door and that there were 4 and only 4 misprinted tickets among them. They say they've been tracking this very rigorously throughout, that they've printed over 1 million tickets for this drawing alone, and that their systems, their checks are telling them that it is a problem with 4 tickets and 4 tickets only. They were telling us that the person who purchased those 4 tickets was offered 4 brand new tickets instead, and if you can believe this, they declined that offer and kept the tickets they had. Hey, to each their own. We will stand by and bring to you any new information that comes to us. In the last few minutes, several RNC officers have arrived on scene, but they're telling us that they are here just in case. So, all of that on top of everything else that has happened today. Again, it was the single biggest crowd that many of us had ever seen, a crowd that started very early this morning. In fact, when we were here, we met up with the person who was one of the very first people in this lineup.
I was up at 4 a.m. I was probably here about 5:30, 6 o'clock.
And you were still third in line, maybe?
Well, I was the first one in the parking lot, but I was kind of having a coffee in my car. Yeah, and breakfast.
And you brought other supplies too, right? You've got the comfortable chair.
Absolutely. And some knitting. Brought some knitting. Yeah.
It helps to pass the time.
Absolutely does.
So you came out here ready for a long way this morning?
It's an all-day thing for me. I live quite a ways from here. So yeah, I came and prepared for the day. Lunch in the car, dinner in the car.
Okay, so that was the beginning of the lineup. Check this out. I did a walk from around noon today, about 1.5 kilometers away from where that lady was. Check this thing out. I couldn't guess the size of this crowd for you folks. You tell me, how many people are we looking at here? Thousands and thousands and thousands. The line over 1 kilometer long. And we spoke to people at the front of it earlier. Here's some folks who are waiting all the way in the back. Made it to the end of the line.
Yes, finally. I got my 10,000 steps in already to get there, so yeah.
What kind of a walk was it from St. Kevin's?
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. But, you know, hopefully I'll pick these. Yeah.
What was it like as you were coming around every corner?
I didn't think the line was ever going to end. So I'm expecting to be in the line for a couple of hours at least. Yeah.
Worth it for a chance at the big money?
Definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. And just excitement of it. I mean, when I was there last week when they won, I was all in goosebumps. Excited for the person that won it. Yeah.
So what a day. Lots of excitement, lots of laughs, and now as we get closer to game time, some drama. Some of the police officers we just told you about have just exited the building, and some of them have actually left the site. Maybe that's a good sign. We're here live, folks. We'll bring you the very latest on all of this, the controversy and the fun, as the story develops. Reporting live in Goulds, I'm Zach Gowdy for Here and Now.
Well, to Labrador now, and a gun-toting picture posted on Facebook.
Yes, this man says he's locked and loaded and ready to take action over Muskrat Falls.
But the group the man says he supports, the Labrador Land Protectors, says he's gone too far.
Here Now's Jacob Barker has our story.
Jerry Igloliorti's Facebook post is pretty clear. He's locked and loaded and good and ready to take action against Dwight Ball, Nalcor, and the RCMP. He's posing with what he says is a BB gun. That bus behind him is said to be transporting extra RCMP brought in as security. Word of those extra officers is thought to be one of the sparks behind this scene at the gates of Muskrat Falls Tuesday night. But the gun picture with its locked and loaded language is too much even for the group organizing protests against Muskrat Falls. A statement from the Labrador Land Protectors says it's an inappropriate post and they do not support or in any way condone the use of violence, including depiction of violence or displays of weapons. While this is going on, some Muskrat Falls protesters were in court. Nalcor is continuing to enforce a previous court order limiting protests around the Muskrat Falls project. Igloliorti is one of those before a judge today. He now has apologized for the Facebook post. He says he was just trying to make a statement about continuing opposition.
And Jacob Barker joins us now live. So Jacob, you've just come from court in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Jerry Igloliorti was there. So tell us what happened.
Well, yeah, actually court just let out a few minutes ago, and Jerry came out and reiterated his apology and said that, he did not want to give that depiction of violence, that he was just trying to show that the battle is continuing against Nalcor. He, along with several others, appeared here, what Nalcor calls repeat offenders, were appearing in Supreme Court this afternoon. That issue did not come up. He was asked not to come within 1 kilometer of the Muskrat Falls site, like many of them were, but he can continue to protest across from the site on what's being called the protest pad. RCMP also got in touch with CBC late in the day to say there is an ongoing investigation into that image that was posted to Facebook. Reporting live for Here and Now in Happy Valley Goose Bay, I'm Jacob Barker.
Newfoundland and Labrador's relationship with Quebec took another step forward today. The premiers announced plans to develop areas they consider to be of common interest. The Labrador Trough, an iron ore belt along the province's shared border, and the extension of Highway 138 on Quebec's lower North Shore. Dwight Ball and Philippe Couillard answered questions today in Edmonton about those plans and the ongoing legal fight over the Upper Churchill.
So the question is, we're going to have common work on Labrador Trough. We'll share expenses, for example, with geotechnical work, telecoms. So the question is, when time comes to exploit the resources, how are we going to share that too? No, we have different companies doing different projects, and it's going to stay the same. But putting things in common at the early stages is going to make it easier down the line.
So for me, you know, one of the things that we need to consider, there's a fair amount of duplication that would happen when you have, you know, a company that would actually cross borders. And so what we wanted to do is make sure that we limit the duplication in those areas. We know that this is a very competitive market right now, and as we go and attract capital both to the Labrador Trough, you know, which would impact the province of Quebec and Newfoundland and Labrador as an example, it's important that we actually streamline those processes and cut out unnecessary duplication of expenses.
Mr. Ball, did you bring up the Church of Fall question?
No, you know, these are different processes. Right now, this is really building on and looking for and exploring areas where we can actually create economic activity for both Newfoundland and Labrador and Quebec.
Yeah.
There is any discussion on this subject, negotiation? You are waiting for the decision of the court?
Well, there's a judicial process ongoing, and we'll wait for that. But the point for us is to show our citizens, and in spite of these differences, and we certainly have a point of difference here, we are working together to the benefit of our fellow citizens. That's the main message here today. The relationship does not limit itself to this question. There's also other aspects that we can work on, and this is a very good example of that.
Well, as bad as Mount Cashel. That's how a lawyer is describing alleged child abuse at provincially run facilities decades ago. Victims, both men and women who lived in those homes, are now looking for compensation. Lawyer Lynn Moore says the government of the day allowed a horrific level of abuse to happen. Here Now's Megan McCabe is on this story. She joins us now live. Megan?
Moore calls them 4 brave souls, the representative plaintiffs in this case. 19 people have come forward, all alleging physical, sexual, and emotional abuse at government homes from the 1950s to the late 1980s. Moore says even her oldest client at 74 continues to suffer.
Some of them have had or continue to have substance abuse issues. Some of them have post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety disorder, depression. It has impacted people's ability to get an education, an ability to work, and it has profound lifelong impacts on most people that are sexually assaulted as children.
Facilities in question include the Whitburn Boys Home and another in Pleasantville. About 50 to 70 kids a year would live in each home, and many were considered delinquents at the time. Some were kids in care, and Moore says that some of them were neglected by their parents and put in these homes for their own safety. She also says that the government knew the abuses were happening and turned a blind eye. Her evidence? A 1955 inquiry into abuses inside these homes, and the 1988 Hughes inquiry, which looked at complaints from Mount Cashel and more, including Whitburn. She also points to the 1972 conviction of a Pleasantville guard who was convicted of sexually assaulting 2 children there at the time.
It is really frightening, and it's really disturbing on many levels, the information that the government had that they did not act on, and the risk that they posed to our children. We've had a client tell us, you know, that he was being sexually assaulted and he was reporting it, and they threw him in the hole for it. They put him in solitary confinement because he made a complaint of sexual abuse.
The firm is looking for more victims of child abuse at these places to come forward now, and Moore says that the stats show that men are more likely than women to come forward if they have been abused as children. And from what Jane Doe, who's the first plaintiff in this case, says about the rampant abuse at Pleasantville when she was there years ago, they're making a special appeal to women to come forward. The next step is for the government to file a statement of defense, and then Moore says that she hopes to get the case certified as a class action lawsuit.
Thanks very much, Megan. Well, in other news tonight, women make up a little more than half of the province's core government workers, but when it comes to the Sunshine List, you'll find fewer women than men. Here and Now analyzed the list of workers who are paid more than $100,000 a year. What we found has the NDP, women's groups, and even the minister calling for change. Peter Cowan explains.
Let's take a look at some of the numbers. The overall gender balance in core government is pretty much evenly split 50-50. But when it comes to the Sunshine List, women are just 41% of the workers there. And some departments are worse. For example, Transportation and Works, the overall balance, just 14% women in that department. And on the Sunshine List, women are an even smaller percentage. They make up just 6% of the workers there. The minister responsible for the status of women isn't happy with these numbers.
I won't stand here and tell you that I'm pleased with where we are. I don't think any woman or any man in Newfoundland and Labrador would stand here and say that they are pleased. We have a lot of work to do.
So what's behind it? Well, it depends who you ask. Kathy Bennett says the province has hired more women, but the pay is often based on seniority, so it takes time for them to work their way up the pay scale. Many of the people on the Sunshine List are there thanks to overtime. The head of the St. John Status of Women Council says women often face challenges in taking on extra shifts or working later.
Women do the second shift at home, so they're responsible predominantly for all the unpaid work within the home. So that's caregiving, looking after children, looking after parents. So women are often in a position where they can't take that extra overtime to get them up to that second level.
So what's the solution? The NDP says it's time for pay equity legislation.
That catching up doesn't happen just because of goodwill. There are still existing glass ceilings for women, and we need legislation.
Kathy Bennett says she supports pay equity legislation. Her department is working on it now and expects to bring it before the House of Assembly next spring. Peter Cowan, CBC News, St. John's.
The Newfoundland Labrador Liquor Corporation has offered air miles to its customers for the past decade. CBC Investigates has found that the Crown Corporation pays millions of dollars a year to take part in the rewards program, even though it has a monopoly on most liquor sold in the province. Here now's Jen White went to the NLC to find out why.
If you've ever come to the liquor store and your purchase has been influenced by one of these signs, the Newfoundland Liquor Corporation says you're not alone.
The Crown Corporation pays big bucks to be a part of the rewards program. Government tendering documents show that from January to December of last year, the NLC paid more than $1.8 million to offer air miles to its customers. But the NLC says it's not money out of taxpayers' pockets. It gets passed on to liquor suppliers.
We offset those costs by supplier-funded miles. So the program runs as a cost-neutral program for the most part. We get the benefit of the added sales generation from the program, and that's where the real value lies.
Gill says in the last fiscal year, the NLC provided a dividend to government of $198 million, thanks in part to the Air Miles program. 91% of households in the province have a collector card, well above the national average.
The Air Miles customer comes into our store versus a non-Air Miles collector, spends 36% more on their basket, on their transaction every time they come into our store. And that represents roughly $11 per visit.
Gill says it can also influence what you buy. Red wine drinkers, for instance, who typically aren't brand loyal. You spot an aisle with one bottle for $20 and a similar one for $23, but with 10 bonus miles.
The beauty of it is that the supplier pays for those 10 bonus miles, the customer gets the benefit of those 10 bonus miles, and if we've influenced them to choose that $23 bottle instead of the $20 bottle, we get $3 extra for that sale.
Gill says that adds to their sales revenue and ultimately to the dividend for government. But he says if the program was taken away, it wouldn't mean savings. It would be a loss of millions of dollars for the provincial coffers. Jen White, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, from some nice-looking bottles of wine to something else that we've been talking about.
Not quite yet. 7 o'clock's almost here.
We've been talking about the great weather, but it's not all that great if you're a salmon fisher.
That's right. Yes, that's right. DFO is shutting some rivers on the island. Now, those salmon rivers and their tributaries are in zones 3 and 4 from White Bay to Cape Friels and zone 11 on the south coast.
And DFO says because of extremely low water levels and extremely high temperatures, water temperatures, most of those rivers will close 1 hour after sunset tonight. The others will close 1 hour after sunset tomorrow night. And given our record-breaking temperatures, it's certainly easy to see why we have those conditions.
Now, rivers will reopen as conditions improve, but we're hearing maybe some other salmon rivers will be closed because of poor conditions.
Now, an easy way to keep an eye on the status of the salmon rivers is to call the angling line, and you can see the number here on the screen, 772-4423.
Okay, so the weather?
Yeah.
Mixed blessing. how's it shaping up for the rest of the week?
Well, we've got a couple of more warm days here on the island. Certainly some cooler temperatures for the weekend, but most importantly, some rain on the way as well for some of the rising forest fire concerns. So we're going to talk all about that with your forecast details right after the break.
After the break, we'll tell you about plans to cover this cement wall with a painting of the Great St. John's Fire of 1892.
Welcome back, and we've been showing you lots of pics of whales and icebergs, but we had to squeeze in one more because these capelin in Middle Cove, they're rolling, and this is a pretty great video.
Probably with his dipper and a net of some sort. Fabulous.
So many
pictures.
of them.
It's almost like seaweed, moving with the, the water.
It is. The GoPro has reinvented how we view capelin, hasn't it?
That's for sure.
Yeah. Cool stuff there. And a great day once again in Middle Cove for checking out the capelin or just getting out and enjoying. It was another really, really nice day across the island today. 24 the high in St. John's. We were flirting with 30 in Central, and we were back in the high 20s for most of the west. and you can see where that front has been rolling through Labrador today. Note the highs, 29 in Mary's Harbour, Cartwright, and Happy Valley Goose Bay. Now, look at where we are in terms of temperature at this hour. 19 in Happy Valley Goose Bay, 16 in Cartwright. So we're really starting to drop off here on the other side of that cold front, which is racing into southeastern parts of Labrador. It'll move into Newfoundland tomorrow with somewhat cooler air, mainly a risk of some showers and thunderstorms. Certainly some cooler air sinking in for Friday, but we're going to hang on to the humidity likely right through until some drier air comes in on Saturday. In terms of the dew point, and yeah, the sticky, icky stuff is what people don't like, and you can see with those dew points, it is in that sticky to uncomfortable range across the island right now. Is certainly a noticeable rise in that humidity today, and that'll be the case again tomorrow. Humidity right now in that 30 to 32 range. Now, that number at YYT, a little misrepresentative of what we're feeling across the city, where definitely that dew point has been a little bit higher today, right in those onshore winds along parts of the airport, along at YYT and along parts of the coast. It has been a little bit cooler with that sea breeze kicking in from time to time with winds in from the south-southeast. Now, as we take a look at that satellite and radar, again, this is the cold front that's been ripping through into Labrador, Happy Valley Goose Bay, as I mentioned, from 29 earlier down to 19 degrees along the west coast. You can see where we have a bit of cloud cover kicking up along the west coast, but generally it's pretty quiet through central as well. Along the southeast coast, we've been seeing some drizzle at times, and we are now seeing some showers crawl up across the Avalon. So if you are planning to walk the dog this evening, you're going to want to keep an eye out on the radar, as we are expecting to see some showers move through this evening. There is the cold front that will move into southeastern Labrador into the Straits by tomorrow morning. It's showers along the west coast, some early drizzle possibilities for St. John's. It's some sunny breaks to start the day in through central Newfoundland. That front will then sag southward. It's a warm one again. High 20s, flirting with 30 in places like Gander and Terra Nova, and then that front will kind of dip southward and bring in some cooler air as we move into the early stages of Friday, only to have another surge back in terms of talking about low to mid 20s on Friday. And again, the humidity will be sticking around because of that pushback Friday afternoon. We'll talk more about that in your Friday details and your weekend forecast, of course, coming up in just a few minutes. So it's a very mild start again. You're going to want those windows open for tonight and into tomorrow morning. Again, we're going to start near 14 in St. John's, some patchy drizzle, some fog patch possibilities, and then we're looking at another dynamite afternoon. Solid sunny breaks in there, 26 degrees. We're going to feel closer to 30 or 32 again, and with winds in from the southwest, it'll be more of a dominant feeling of that sticky stuff for across the metro region, unless you're in those onshore winds along Conception Bay South. Now, as we take a look right across the island tomorrow, talking about temperatures, again, flirting with 30. I think the hot spot certainly Terra Nova towards Gander, with those afternoon showers and thunderstorm possibilities in Labrador. It is a much cooler air mass, single digits along the coast, and we will rebound with a southwest wind moving back into Labrador City, highs near 20 degrees there. Long-range details are coming up. Debbie?
Thanks very much, Ryan. Well, the City of St. John's announced today that Julie Lewis has been chosen as the artist to paint a giant mural of the 1892 Great Fire. The painting will be done over the next few months on McBride's Hill between Duckworth and Water Street. Here now's Jeremy Eaton spoke with the artist earlier today.
We have the 125th anniversary of that now, from 1892. So we felt that this huge wall here at McBride's Hill would be a wonderful opportunity for an artist to put forth some wonderful artistic abilities and also some thought into the history of that fire.
Where we do have realism, but you do want to have depth. So given that a mural is going to be up on a wall absorbing sunlight, you do need to have some depth of color. So the idea that 2/3 of the wall are going to be a little more subdued, with the top third being a little bit lighter. There's definitely a balance of dark and light in there. It's definitely a help to have at this point Photoshop skills, because you can actually take your imagination and turn it into a measurable grid. And it's interesting because when you go to research some of these things, it's the same way that they did things back in the 16th century. Using a grid was good then, and it's good now. I did have 2 or 3 apps that I looked at that might help, and I went, no, at the end of the day, good old measuring is the way to go. Well, we've had an amazing summer so far, so I'm really hoping that we're going to continue to have these wonderful temperatures. A lot of the part I'm thinking is it's going to be, I'd say 60 to 90 days, give or take what our weather is. I'm really going to have a more accurate look at it once the scaffolding is put up and I can do a measurement on section by section. What I actually specifically said to the city is I want to do the harder parts first. The fun thing about this, which I think is interesting, the hard part is the big part on the left-hand side, and it gets smaller and smaller as you go. So as a metaphor of finishing a goal, it's always nice to have a light at the end of the tunnel. So even on this mural, I like the idea that the further right you go, the brighter the colors are going to be. So it's going to be fun. I can tell you, as soon as I get to about here, I'm going to be feeling golden.
Well, the parents of the victim of a vicious assault have mixed feelings about the 3-year sentence given to the man convicted of attacking their son. It happened during a party in a house in the Southlands area of St. John's last year. Today, Robert Mills was sentenced to 3 years for his role in the attack. Here Now's Glenn Payette reports.
It was a party that got way out of hand, and when a 21-year-old man tried to get people to leave, he was stabbed and beaten.
My son almost died.
24-year-old Robert Mills was not linked to the stabbing, but Mills admitted to smashing the victim repeatedly with brass knuckles. Mills had pleaded guilty to aggravated assault and weapons charges. Today in court in St. John's, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison and 3 years probation.
I was anticipating less. Not that I feel it should be less, but I was ready for less. So I think 3 years was actually fair in this situation.
But the victim's father doesn't agree.
I think it could have been more, though. 3 years is not a whole lot. He's not showing no remorse.
Bailey says her son is doing fine, but is badly scarred because of the stabbing, and the family is coping.
It's been hard. It gets easier as time goes by. The hardest part is this, just the ongoing trials, waiting for things to be over.
And she says they still have concerns about their safety.
You worry about, especially with young people, you always worry about retaliation. They don't always make the smartest decisions, and they can be very dangerous at times. There's not a lot of common sense these days.
And as for parties,
there will never be any more.
You heard Bailey say that the family can't wait until all this is over. That will be a while yet. 4 youths, also charged with aggravated assault, are currently standing trial for the attack. Glenn Payette, CBC News, St. John's.
The very latest from Gould's. Chase the Ace organizers are telling people in this crowd that tonight's draw will go ahead. A controversy surrounding misprinted tickets and duplicate tickets had threatened to derail tonight's Chase the Ace. We're bringing the latest on this story right after the break.
Welcome back once again. So let's get back to our top story, Chase the Ace in Ghouls. If there wasn't enough excitement this afternoon, ticket irregularities were flagged, and Service NL says it has begun an investigation.
Yes, here now Zach Gowdy is live tonight outside St. Kevin's Parish. Zach, what's the latest?
Well, guys, the Chase the Ace organizers just addressed this massive crowd via the loudspeaker system here. We'll play you the clip in a moment. But they told people that tonight's draw is going ahead. Obviously, the news that there were misprinted tickets, some duplicate numbers had been sold today. That report went through this crowd like a bolt of lightning. People have been coming up to us for the past hour asking what we know, what's the latest, what are we reporting. Well, on a moment ago, via the loudspeakers here, the Chase the Ace organizers let these people know essentially the information we reported at the top of the show, that the owner of the print shop has assured them that this is a small irregularity involving a very small number of tickets, a 1 in a million printing glitch, an old batch that went out the door this morning. For many reasons, they are assuring people here that this irregularity is limited to the 4 misprinted tickets that they have already identified. As you can see, the crowd is still moving, tickets are still being told, and here is what the crowd was told by Chase the Ace organizers just minutes ago.
We were made aware this afternoon of a computer glitch that caused a few tickets to have a number that was duplicated. We have been assured by the printer that there were only the 4 numbers, the 1 number was duplicated 4 times, were sold to 1 individual. We have been guaranteed by the printer it was only a very slight computer glitch that can occur 1 time in a million prints or whatever. And the 1 individual, as I said, has those tickets and was dealt with in a fair manner by the staff here in the hall. All systems are go. We are assured that it's only that 1 individual. He has the duplicate numbers. So continue on, enjoy your evening, and we'll be doing our draw at 8:15 and 8:20 as usual.
So obviously some major relief for people in this crowd. Will that be the end of the story? We're standing by to bring you the latest. But certainly it's one more thing, and a major thing, for the organizers of this event to deal with. Again, this is a small church charity. The people who are running this Chase the Ace got involved back in October, thinking this was going to be a few weeks commitment. They would do a small community-based lottery, and that would be that. Well, now here they are 40 weeks later, running an event the size of a major summer concert or festival, and doing it every single week from now till some undetermined point in the future. And then that's enough to deal with when things are going well. Just imagine when things start to go sideways and a major controversy erupts hours from game day. And that's your problem if you're the person sitting in the organizer's chair. This afternoon, I caught up with Bob Farrell, one of the people in charge of the volunteers here at this event, to just ask him what this roller coaster ride has been like behind the scenes.
You got 12 tables of Chase the Ace, and you got 8 tables of 50-50, and each one of those are volunteers with 2 at each table. So you're talking 70, 80 people here in the run of a day.
Now, all those 70, 80 people, of course, they need to be fed, they need bathroom breaks. I saw you just a moment ago running around with cold water for people. Tell me about that part of things.
Yeah, well, see, we've got sandwiches for people down the back and cold drinks, and we get them a little break every now and again. But most people are saying, no, I'm fine, I'm good, you're good. So, no, listen, they're jewels.
What's it been like for you to prevail upon these people week after week, and now, again, far longer than I'm sure a lot of these people thought they were signing up for in the first place?
When we started back in October, we had 6 tables, and we cut it down to 4 because we weren't selling enough tickets. And then after a while, then you added on 5, 6, 7. Now we're up to 12 tables all day long, right?
What's your week like in terms of working the phones in order to bring all these people out?
I'd say when I start Sunday, start phoning people and saying, what can you work? And they say, whatever you want. And that's the way it's been since the last 3 months.
I guess you need to kind of count on that community spirit to make something like this happen.
Oh, without the community, we'd never do this. If the people in the community turned on us and said, listen, look what you're doing to my community. I can't go to softball, I'm walking here, I'm walking there. We'd be lost. But they're so good, it's not funny. They'll let you in the house to use the bathrooms.
Now, the organizers never thought they'd be dealing with something this big, and I never thought I'd meet a person dressed as fantastically as you are, man.
That's because you never met me before.
Is this outfit your lucky charm?
Oh, it certainly is. My earrings, my socks.
You spent almost as long getting ready as you did waiting in line, maybe.
Pardon?
You might have spent almost as long getting ready as you did waiting in line.
No, not really. I must say the line was pretty good this afternoon. I was here this afternoon as well. Yeah.
They're doing things pretty well out here. Could you introduce?
Pretty quick, yeah.
Could you introduce yourself for us, ma'am?
Marie Barrett.
Marie.
From St. John's.
Love your outfit and best of luck.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have
Take
a good
care.
evening.
Well, there you are, folks. Just goes to show. You never know what's going to happen at Chase the Ace. Reporting live in Goulds, I'm Zach Gowdy for Here and Now.
The weather update is brought to you by Belltone Hearing Service St. John's, helping the world hear better.
Great weather to wear an Chase the Ace hat. That's lovely. She was lovely.
Yeah. A little cooler over the last hour or so. We've seen the winds become a little more southeasterly, and so when you look at the highs today, 24 the high in St. John's, 28 in Gander, 19 in Winterland along the Burin Peninsula, but watch what temperatures are doing right now, just 15 and 18. We are certainly seeing the fog monster creep in downtown and over the east end of St. John's. The winds will shift back, and you can see with that future tracker as we move over the next couple of hours, we are going to be seeing that future tracker should have shown the cold front dipping down in through Labrador tomorrow and then down across the island. But this is where we'll certainly see the showers and the thunderstorm risk tomorrow. Corner Brook, central Newfoundland, 22 to as warm as 29 degrees. St. John's, 25 degrees. A chance of some early drizzle across the Avalon. That clears out into the afternoon with some sun and cloud, especially for northern sections. Still cloud cover dominating at times along the south coast, but should even see some sunshine places like the Burin Peninsula. It's clouds and showers from pretty much start to finish along the west coast. And again, the afternoon risk for central. lingering showers for Labrador, most of Labrador tomorrow. The exception will be Lab City at 19 degrees. Now, we'll run you through Friday. Watch this front. It does temporarily move through, I think, a bit of a drop in the humidity Friday morning, only to have it return as the southerly winds come back in Friday afternoon into Friday evening ahead of this front, which will become occluded as it moves through, which means it won't be really a true cold front. But ahead of it again is another warm one on Friday. 23 to 24 degrees, a little cooler perhaps in those onshore winds. Chance of showers is for the afternoon, and it's a late afternoon risk for St. John's up through Gander, Terra Nova. Mid to early afternoon risk for Grand Falls, Windsor, and back towards the Corner Brook region as it moves in from the southwest. And again, more clouds and showers on the menu for you folks in Labrador, even a risk of a thunderstorm along this line. And again, for Friday evening and through the overnight, that's when it will be at its wettest for most of the island. By Saturday morning, certainly some lingering shower chances, but I do think any of the Saturday plans on the go are looking dry right now. For Saturday afternoon in the east, I know the Teddy Bear Picnic on the go in St. John's. We are looking at the scattered shower risk, though, in central towards western Newfoundland and up into Labrador. So that Saturday afternoon risk is certainly there. Temperatures cooler and not much in the way of humidity here. So a more comfortable Saturday for sure. Sun breaks in the mix, but do watch for those sunny breaks. Now, Sunday, we will see a nice day in the east. More scattered shower chances for central, but not a washout. Temperatures near 20 degrees, and you can see where we're certainly riding the more seasonal mark. Long gone are the high 20s and feeling into the 30s that we've been seeing over the last couple of days, so some relief for those who have been finding it a little difficult. And you can see in Labrador, cool is the name of the game here. A cold pool of air coming overhead this weekend means temperatures are going to be into those low teens. Scattered shower chances pretty much Friday through Monday, and then some return to some warmer air and some brightening skies early next week.
It is time now for our Athlete of the Day, and we'd like to introduce you to a versatile baseball player from Stephenville.
Yes, Peyton Flynn is 8 years old and plays with the Stephenville Mets. Peyton plays every position.
Awesome work, Peyton. You're today's Young Athlete of the Day.
Welcome back to Here and Now. And to Toronto now, where athletes continue to compete in the North American Indigenous Games. This province has more than 80 athletes in Ontario this week, and this morning some of them were competing in the target shooting competition. They're from Sheshatshiu, Postville, Conn River, and Nain. One of those participants is Snoddon Piogi of Nain, who says he learned to handle a gun from hunting.
Seal hunting, partridge hunting. I went caribou hunting once. Yeah.
So is it a lot different shooting a target as opposed to shooting an animal?
Yeah, with lots of difference.
How is it different?
I'm usually used to shooting moving targets and not used to shooting like long distance with a 22.
Now, so far, this province has won 1 medal at the Games, a bronze. Now to Labrador, there was a demonstration in Sheshatshiu yesterday demanding honest Innu Nation elections next month. But it was a demonstration with a difference. It was led by young people from Sheshatshiu and Natwashish. Demonstrators say for too long, candidates have used alcohol, drugs, and money to buy votes in the communities they want. All candidates to run a sober and honest campaign this time around. Our Bailey White was at the demonstration.
I just became recently sober myself, and every coming election I got really excited, and I would go out who would give me the most free stuff, money or alcohol. That was the person that I voted for, and I neglected my children, and it was unfair, and I left my children with people. It wasn't their responsibility to look after my kids. It was my responsibility. Me and my wife brought them into this world. It is our responsibility to raise a child.
What message do you hope that the leaders get today?
I honestly hope that they think through this and that they really think about the youth, since the youth is a big priority here. Since like hearing them saying that, well, let's see if they can actually really show us and prove it to us that the youth are a priority here. That I'm a priority, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, when you really think about it, everybody here.
Makes me feel really proud, and I'm certainly very supportive in what they're doing, and in the communities we have young people, and for them to step forward makes me very proud, and very proud to have led the community and to still lead the community, and initiatives they're taking, and the changes they want to see.
Welcome back to Here and Now. So let's go back to chase the ace at St. Kevin's Parish in Gould.
Here now, Zach Gowdy rejoins us live from the Gould. So Zach, tonight's draw was in doubt at one point late this afternoon. Not long ago, you told us it was a go. So is that still the case?
Well, CBC is reporting that, in fact, the controversy surrounding misprinted tickets, we may not have heard the last of that. Things are really coming down to the wire because, as you can see, for the first time all day, there is nobody in the lineup. In fact, if you can come around with me for just a moment, there's the door, folks. There's a site I didn't think I'd get to show you on television tonight. Anyone could come here right now, walk right in. They are still selling tickets, and organizers are still telling the crowd that things are a go. But the presence of those 4 uniformed RNC officers right at the front door ought to tell you that something could be up. If you're just joining us, to recap, about an hour and a half ago, news broke that some misprinted tickets had been identified, that at least 4 tickets had been identified that contained at least 1 duplicate number on all 4 tickets. Now, of course, that's extremely bad. Any irregularities with any lottery could, in fact, result in the cancellation of that lottery, and Service NL, the provincial government agency that issues the lottery license, immediately dispatched auditors here on site at St. Kevin's and said that tonight's draw was in question. Now, since then, Chase the Ace organizers have reported to this crowd via their loudspeaker system that this is a contained irregularity. They've identified all misprinted tickets, that there were just the 4, and that tonight's draw would be a go. Now, CBC has been contacted by another individual, a person who has 3 tickets that also, they say, have that same duplicate number appearing on them. They've also sent us a photograph. I can tell I've seen the photograph. It does contain the same number that was on the 4 previously identified misprinted tickets. Apparently that person is on the way here to St. Kevin's. What's to come of that remains to be seen. But obviously, as you can tell, there is an enormous crowd of people here. And hey, let's talk about the bottom line. You see those 2 Brinks trucks? That's the bottom line. Hundreds of thousands of dollars have been spent on this lottery today alone. Millions of dollars are at stake in the lottery overall. For anything to threaten that, all of this, hey, I don't have to tell you what the consequences could be. We are standing by here live for the duration. We are going to be live on the CBC NL Facebook page beginning at 7:30 Newfoundland time. At 8 o'clock, the ticket sales will shut down completely. They'll draw the 50-50, and then whatever happens, will they chase the ace? It's supposed to happen at 8 o'clock. We'll be live at 7:30 on the CBC NL Facebook page. Join us there and find out. Reporting live in Goulds, I'm Zach Gowdy for Here and Now.
Great stuff there, Zach, and everybody on the scene there, the CBC crew. Again, stay tuned, and our Facebook Live broadcast will be on the go, so make sure you check that out. Developing there in the Goulds. Okay, next 3 days, again, a cool down in Labrador certainly for tomorrow. Temperatures do rebound a little bit for Friday into Saturday in the east, but it's dropping in the west. Now for the island, again, it's shower chances with a risk of a thunderstorm for Thursday. A bit of a recovery for Friday, then late day Friday shower chances. Will clear Saturday, only to have more scattered shower chances for later Saturday for central and west. So a lot on the go. And again, that Sunday forecast, many asking about the Tele 10. It doesn't look very humid at all. In fact, temperatures looking pretty good for the Tele 10 run right now. We'll have more on that, obviously, for tomorrow night, and that is, of course, happening on Sunday.
Wow.
So this is a fantastic picture taken by Robert Conway, and this was posted on my Facebook page today. Wasn't actually sure who took it because the captain of the ship sent it out. It was out in Bay Bulls there, but a fantastic shot that Robert Conway snapped a week ago Friday, I believe, at sunrise.
Oh, sunrise.
Yeah.
The colors and the glow on the whale. Oh, it's just beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And thanks for being with us, everyone. Kind of an exciting night out in Goulds.
Definitely.
We'll have all the latest tomorrow, and we'll see you back here.
Good night.
Good night.